There you go.
Hey, Elvis.
Elvis, can you hear? Elvis got groomed today.
Woo, he looks pretty. Better get him a hat though, or he's gonna be cold.
He doesn't really go out. He's going to be 13 in February.
He's
that-
well preserved.
Yes.
He is. And I'm thinking of looking for another dog.
Same kind?
Yeah, well, something not bigger than Elvis. It has to be under 18 pounds and hypoallergenic.
Mhm.
So another Elvis.
Well, poodles are supposed to be also in that Portuguese water dog or something that the Obamas got, but I don't know how.
Well, poodles, Elvis is a poodle mix. My other one was a poodle and Bichon mix too.
The difference is that they have hair instead of fur.
Right.
And yeah. So there seemed to be, since you had your mock jury, after you had your mock jury, there are so many people posting. Have you noticed?
Well, they're posting, and then I started that thread about St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had, I guess, about 8 or 10 people have contacted me. They want to be part of the next mock jury.
Good.
We'll see how that goes.
Right.
I'll try to do that in April.
Mhm. I mean, really, it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't matter that much as far as what time of year, in the sense that all we could do is move forward. So,
Well, no, it does matter because during show season, people don't have time to get their jury presentations together.
right.
I tried it in August and it was a total flop one year,
Uh-huh.
but April and September were okay. And
Got
January.
it. So fall is like a big time to apply to shows, it seems.
Well, the Florida shows and a few of the major Midwest shows,
Mhm.
but the
I mean,
rest of them. Go ahead.
Every application, yeah, I've applied to everything already for the whole year. Well, I don't do later fall, winter shows, so aside from that, but everything else is in, but not due yet, I suppose.
So when Old Town let us know, Allison.
February 1st.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, so that's soon,
What show?
but 2 days. Old Town.
I went for Columbus also.
It's the same weekend, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. And do you find out soon after?
Yeah, they usually come at the same time.
Well, that's good.
So
Then you'll have to,
I was in Columbus before Old Town. What?
if you're accepted at both, then you choose which one.
Yep.
And
I
hope
would
you
say
can
in the
get a
past I
refund
choose,
from the other one.
I usually I pick up Old Town, but if I get into Columbus this year, I might try Columbus. because Old Town was just okay last year. It wasn't nothing special.
Last year,
So
I think was kind of an off year. I mean, for a lot of shows anyway. But on the other hand, you don't have travel for that one.
yeah, I know. That's the reason why I always go to I choose Old Town because I know how to. Columbus notification is February 12th.
Ah, okay.
And
Yeah.
Old Town doesn't say it in SAP, but
I read February 1st because I read through on Zap, about the show, and I had to really scroll down and find it. But you have to buy your booth sometime by March or something.
yeah.
So, Oscar, you have an event next weekend, right?
This weekend, yeah. One
Mhm.
every weekend starting from now.
Ah. I don't start up
So
yet. Go ahead.
I'm looking forward to be busy, not sitting around
Mhm.
and
Right.
and not be, you know, not freaking out about it too much. I just need to start making money this
Mhm.
weekend. The first two shows, it was not even. I could have just stayed in Chicago.
Mhm. Never know though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. There's no. We never know.
Mhm.
We only know until we do the show.
Right. I have my first things in I signed up for later March. The artist market here starts March
Mm.
1st, but the weather, you don't know how. So most of December they had to cancel, and they don't take it lightly, but if the winds are really high or if it's going to snow, they'll cancel because there's no point in being out there and putting ourselves at risk in any case.
Yeah,
And it's not like people will show up if it's miserable out. But if it's cold and sunny and not windy, it actually that can work because when it's sunny here, even if it's like 40 degrees, the sun is so strong. So anyway, I'm hoping those days in March that I'm scheduled, I'm hoping that it's at least
it's
50
not.
degrees.
So I got into the show in Dallas with the
Cottonwood?
Cottonwood and the Botanical Garden show. So
Oh,
I'm doing those two and then head to South Carolina after that.
mm. For which show there?
I figured.
Oh, right.
So people cannot tell for all those three shows.
Hmm.
Just
I
pull
used to be
your
able
trailer.
to. No, I don't. No. No, that's just not going to happen. This is a really old trailer. This is 2011, and quite honest with you, uh, the way that they build the trailers, they're really no, they are not meant to be on the road. Like people think every weekend, like running around, like the way that we travel, they're not meant for that. They will not last.
Oh, St. Louis just sent out a summary from the mock jury.
Oh,
How
and
did
what?
you do?
Ah, well, that ought to be interesting. There was no link to that, was there?
What to what?
To the mock jury?
Now,
So what's the summary of the summary?
Wait. Um, gee, I wonder if they'd get upset with me if I posted this.
What if you just tell us about it? Like if there's a summary
Oh,
sort of,
I would have to go there and read it. It's not, it wasn't in the email. The email was just a link,
got it.
but maybe I'll just post it tonight. What's the worst that can happen? They won't let me apply to the mock jury next year.
Well, I mean, if the summary is useful, then
Well, it's only as useful as the jurors' comments were.
Did they comment on your specifics
there.
or just the?
sorry, I'm
Yeah, well, they did. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sure that's in there.
I still cannot get over with that thing with the photography. So
Oh, it's
it should be
actually interesting.
What?
It's the whole video.
Oh,
If you want to watch 6 hours,
no.
they kind of rushed through the second part because the first part took so long.
do they at least list people so they can go to whatever spot on
Now,
the video?
there's a separate link with the images and the application ID number. But the images were from the Zap scoring page. They're tiny. So mine was like halfway through the second part. But I would have to listen to like an hour to find where they actually talked about mine.
Well, that's not very useful.
No, it's not. Hi, Court.
Hey, Larry.
Did you get the email from St. Louis just now?
No, I've got like, I've on my website, I took off or I quit paying for something and I'm getting a lot of messages about I'm getting a lot of spam comments on my website and I need to go and turn commenting off. So instead of giving 50 emails a day, I'm getting 200 emails a day.
Oh wow.
Just set up a filter.
Yeah, I can just go in. What I need to do is just simply go in and turn commenting off on my website. But I
Right.
haven't done that yet.
St. Louis just within the last few minutes sent out a link to the videos of the mock jury and the artist images that they showed,
Okay.
but it's not cohesive. It's going to require scrolling through on the video to find where they talked about yours.
Yeah, I'll do that later. I just kind of wanted to see it. Yeah, I've got it. I've been trying to get everything set up for my Zoom tonight.
Did Amy call you?
Yep, Amy called me.
Okay.
That's why
good.
I'm late.
Yeah, I know. She told me as soon as I hang the phone with you, I'm going to call court.
Yeah, I've been on the phone to 3 different people today about tonight. So hopefully it'll go smoothly.
I hope so. I think it's you know, I might not be in the one for the spouses, but I think that this one tonight and the one asking the jurors, those are really important.
Yeah.
Like I think that people should really go and spend some time about it. Because
Yeah,
it will help.
Yep. So I'm gonna I've got to get with Evan and figure out how to get into. I don't have access to the NAI YouTube account, and then I've also got to get in and run through the videos that we have so far and do a little editing and add some stuff to them, and then get access to the YouTube account so I can post them and put them on our website. So I just was
You should get one. Keep it under your sink.
looking at the St. Louis, getting ready to scroll through the St. Louis comments.
They didn't separate the comments. It's just the video that if you were watching it on Zoom, that's what you're seeing now.
Yeah. Guess these are in order. I don't remember what my number was.
Well, you can go through the images and find your number.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that.
I'm gonna post a link with their summary.
Automatic. These 2 on the table. Probably another one behind his back. Why did
So-
he come here? How would I know? He was nervous.
Come on.
Where's he from?
His
Sweden?
radar was already up. All he saw was
Well,
fire.
the images aren't loading for me.
We didn't blow our cover. Said you know that.
Pittsburgh.
It says view 2D images. And I click on it
Alright. My name is Dawson.
and I get a gray screen and nothing. Oh, it's still loading.
These were gone.
She's probably at the CPR class.
Oh, there they are. I just didn't get it long enough.
Hi, are you here for class? Am I late? I'm so sorry. We had you to schedule.
I think someone needs to mute themselves. I hear someone's TV show.
She doesn't come late. I'm sure it'll be fine even if she does. You can bring her with you. Maybe I'll check the local hospitals, see if they have any classes this week. Sure, yeah. And Red Cross too.
Application for Longs Park is now $19.
Okay.
$19, did you say?
Next 10 years.
Yeah, Longs Park, Labor Day weekend in
Right.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Wow, that's an odd number, 19, but
We won't
Nice.
be here probably, but
He needs to go.
Yeah,
Oh, hell, you're a fan.
application deadline is March 1st.
okay. I'm glad.
It is an odd amount. I don't remember what it was the last time we were there, but it wasn't $19 for sure.
We didn't go.
I'm
But
going to tell you anything below $35 is a bargain.
How long ago?
we talked about it.
Well-
you know, somebody's not muted and I hear like some noise in the background. I don't know who it is, but
Probably me.
okay. Sorry, it's hard to hear other people like that. But. Well, quite a few shows had early bird application fees, so I took advantage of that
Do you know why shows have early bird application fees?
to get you to apply early.
Exactly. Because the majority of artists apply late. And
It
they
definitely.
have to go through and look at all the applications before they jury them and do some stuff with them. So they
Oh,
offer
okay.
the early discounts
Hmm.
to get artists to apply sooner.
Right. It works for me. I mean,
You know, I just read my comments. And I will go on record as saying when they start critiquing my frames, they just lost all credibility.
And the bin.
And having the bin and the chair in there.
your frames are pretty innocuous. I mean, there's really
They don't take away from the work.
there's nothing to say about them. They're,
Right.
I mean,
Well, they said they was wrong about the frames.
I think
All
they
right.
said they should have been wider.
No, booth shot, get rid of the chair and bin and should see 3 walls. Would consider getting different frames that are more unique and rustic to go with the photography.
that's
no,
bullshit.
No.
rustic,
Oh, come
rustic does
on.
not belong with your work. No way.
They just, I mean, their credibility just, I mean, it didn't just walk out of the room. It just rocket Mach 3 right out the.
Rustic frames with your work. No.
Yeah, they thought my photographs were paintings.
And then the other comment was, would like to see more of a variety of sizes, might leave out the political statement.
Is that the Biden one they were complaining about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's editorializing, really. You know? So they either like the photos or not. I mean,
Yeah, it should be about the photos.
right.
Yeah. It's
That's
just
the problem. That's the problem with them having too much time to evaluate.
well, the other thing is, it's a product of them having to make comments on every single entry because
mean-
they have to come up with things to say
Right,
about it.
thinking they have to make comments.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it's a mock jury, so they do have to make comments on everything. Well, of course, so I'm sitting here scrolling through this. Yeah, they did on a lot of them. They got comments from both, but I'd say about half of them that I'm seeing only have comment from one or the other.
So, who was the person that was doing the jury? Who are the jurors? Did they say?
I'm not sure it says anywhere, but I'm going to guess, reading these based on these comments, that neither one is an active art show artist.
Is it possible to give us any other example of comments? Unless you're uncomfortable with that.
I haven't looked at any other images other than mine.
Mhm.
And you really have to look at the images and compare the images with the comments.
Tom, is true. So a long time ago, I applied to a show, I think it was La Quinta, and the director called me and said, I want to send you a card in the mail to invite me to apply, which we know is not an invitation. So I did apply and I didn't get in. And I emailed and asked, and she said, yeah, I was curious too. And so I'm totally opened, I mean, long ago, I remember an artist told me all my pictures were crooked. I looked and I was like, yeah, you're right. So I can take it. But the comments were, we love your work. We love your booth. You have too many pictures. And at the time I had, let's say there were 16 by 20. I probably had 9 of them in the booth. Whether it was too many or not, I don't know. But
Hello?
I don't know if that so much is something to work with. And I think from these mock juries, it's nice if you could have something to work with. Like, I mean, Court, I feel that the booth should be your actual booth. So if you have I mean, I don't see a problem with a chair in the booth because you're gonna have a chair and your bin. And I would rather a booth like that than something that actually really isn't true. And I know there's, two sides of the fence on this argument.
Yeah, the problem is that you have some shows that I find out that now Howard wants you to put the print banner in his booth shot. But I was telling the person, you guys are the people that started no bands in your booth shot. And now it's like at the standard everywhere that you don't put your the print band and the booth shot. Because they know most of the shows knock you points out if you have the print band.
Well, here's the
So-
thing. The and it's going to be, people keep saying this show doesn't want this show doesn't want that based on one jury. Unless a show director gives a jury specific instructions that we don't want this or we don't want that or do it this way or do it that way, it's not the show that's making those decisions, it's the jury. And you can get a group of people or two or three jurors that don't like one thing, and all of a sudden now then, the St. Louis mock jury said, well, I shouldn't have print bins or chairs in my booth shot. Well, that's two people. That's two people's opinion. And I don't even know who those two people are. But I tell you right away that the comments they made about the frames, they just lost all credibility. So I don't care who they are. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna, I don't have any, there's nothing I feel they can tell me that's constructive.
Seems like there needs to be parameters around booth shots.
That's what I see also. Like I just because that way you don't have guessing and it's a guessing
Right.
game. And me personally, I think honestly, the booth shot should be for the director. Just do the scores, and then the director go through the booth shot and decide based on the scores that person should go. If there's then the director can do the tiebreaker later on with the booth shot.
Although the booth shot really does help put the work in scale and other perspectives.
I know, but it's more you talk to people. It's like in a split for everything. Some people say that the booth shot doesn't matter. Some people say it should be the real booth. Other people say, oh, it has to be completely like
Hey.
gallery look, like nothing wrong with it, everything perfect, everything to scale, everything, and it's confusing.
Well, it is because we have to be mind readers.
Yeah. So,
but Oscar, there is no, the problem is you've got 100 or hundreds of people doing juries, and everybody's got their own personal taste. There is no one right way or wrong way. And I don't know.
No.
Well, there should be some parameters then. I mean, like the director of a show might tell the jurors, you're not to judge the work by the price of it. Right? I mean, there's a list of parameters. And I know Art in the High Desert has directions for the jurors of what they're supposed to look at, when they're viewing, when they're doing the jury, what they're supposed to take into consideration, for example. So guidelines.
All shows have that to some degree or another, but I don't think, and then again, we've got, different show directors. Again, we've got different tastes, different things and all
Here's the thing, and you can bring this up tonight, Court. The show director should be giving the jurors instructions, not to nitpick.
Well, an actual jury as opposed to a mock jury are two different things. The reasons for going and participating in a mock jury is to, improve your work.
Well, no, improve your presentation. And the suggestions a lot of the suggestions that were made did not help people improve their presentations.
Well, I agree.
Like for what they said to you.
Yeah.
And the last 2 years, it was about grass and shooting your booth on grass instead of concrete. Stupid stuff like that should not be brought up in a mock jury.
And it shouldn't be in any show. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter if you shoot the booth in the grass or the
Right, of
or the
course.
solid
And the other
concrete.
issue is, why were they saying no bins when some mediums require bins?
That's the older problem, because that's the older problem that I have, because some people, most of the shows that apply, from what I heard, that people say no bans. So like
If
okay,
Cindy was still the director at St. Louis, they would have never gotten away with that.
Yeah. Probably not.
Of course, I've been a juror for her mock jury when Cindy was in St. Louis.
But you know, one of the problems we have now is, you know, if this whole, see, how can I put this politely and politically correct, or sort of politically correct?
so you're trying not to be
Because of
MP?
all because of the small group of people making a huge stink about the juries and the way they're juried, and, you know, juries doing favors for certain
And
people.
none of that means anything, because that doesn't come into the jury room at all.
No, it doesn't. But they think it does, and because they're making a stink about it, and because, you know, specific jurors, after they jury a show, will hear about from artists that didn't get in, they will get hate mail. And that's why that's why the juries are anonymous, is so the juries don't get hate mail.
Yeah, the juries and the artists are anonymous.
I just think if I know that a friend of mine or somebody that I know is during the show, if I don't get in, I will ask what else I can do to improve my presentation to see if I can get in next year. But I think the people will not ask this question. They just think because you know the person, you should be able to get in. I from last year, the thing that I learned the most, if is to, if you know some of the people, they are high end, and you see them in a show, you should always ask what else you can do in your booth. Ask them question which image I should be submitted to the jury process, because it does help, you know. Also, the people get to see your work in person that you're in the show, is the odds improve in your favor. But you know, it doesn't mean you're going to get in, but you know, it's just give you a better opportunity. So, but definitely,
You know, and then all things,
out of it. Yeah, go ahead.
but all things being equal, really amazing artists don't get in just because of the numbers.
I know, and that's another issue that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I think that that we don't have enough decent shows where people can go and at least 60% of the artists walk out of there happy. We don't get that many of the shows anymore. Most of the time, you know, you don't get to one of the top shows. That means you might have to do 2-3 shows to compensate for that one. and it's just a flip of the coin. And then you
Well,
have to
you could
be
do
looking for gems.
Yeah,
you could do a
but
top show. You could do a top show and also have a bad year. You know what I mean? So there's,
No, I
of
know.
course,
I'm not saying that. This is my opinion about the top shows, and this is what I tell people. Because you get to a show like a Fort Worth, St. Louis Art Fair, La Plaza, Cherry Creek, Lakefront. What that only means to me in my head is that you should be able to hit your average with no problems. Whatever average you make per show, you should be able to make it with not a lot of effort. Because it's those shows try to bring more people to the show. You got more volume, and you should be because pure volume, you should be able to make the average. And the average can be $3,000. The average can be $5,000. The average can be $15,000. But your average, you should be able to reach it. Doesn't mean that you averaging $6,000-$7,000 a show, and you get to Fort Worth. Doesn't mean that you're going to make $35,000 in that show, because that's no. That might be if you think that's going to be, you just dreaming.
well,
You
there's
know?
no guarantees of making your average either, no matter how busy a show is. I mean, like, you know, I do well at really slow shows if it's the right kind of crowd. So
Yeah, but it's once again, it's the word I keep saying, you should make your average a lot easier. Should doesn't say that you're going to make it,
right.
which is a big difference. But who knows?
But see, here's the other thing. Everybody wants to set aside a top show. Everybody thinks there's this set of shows that are the top shows for everybody, and they're not.
No, I know that.
Everybody has different top shows, and
Mhm.
what's a top show for me is not a top show for somebody else. And there's, yeah, it's nice to get into one of the big national shows, but it's no guarantee that your sales are going to be any better there than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like I don't like at St. Louis Affair, I just sometimes apply just for giggles, to be honest with you. But I do this show in Lagrange. Last year was the worst I ever done since the pandemic, and it still was $3,000 show. And for a local show, they only cost me $300. It's a no-brainer. But sometimes in that show, I'm done 9, 8. It's different every year. So, and once again, it's only 60 artists. It's the show that more people stunk on it, but for X, Y reason, I do well in that show.
What's the matter? Huh?
So,
Oscar, do you keep a mailing list? Do you send announcements out about your shows?
I do email for sure. Mailing, I don't.
Yeah. No, that either. I meant really. Now,
Yeah.
so do you send to your entire mailing list regarding Florida shows, for example?
Yeah, because I find out that there's two things. I find out people like to know what you're doing through the year,
Mm-hmm.
but I only send one email a month. I don't try to overdo it.
Right. But the other thing is, you never know on your mailing list who's going to be there, right? Who will show up.
Correct. That's the other part that I
That's the
was
big
going
one.
to tell you, because I got clients that live in Philadelphia, but they have a house in Florida.
Right.
So you have to send it,
Yeah.
So and you never know. Like the most hilarious thing that I have happened to me through the years is that I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, doing a show, and the person comes and buy the stuff and said, "Just drop it off when you get back home." And I go like, "What you mean?" "Oh, I live in Chicago." So I'm going like, "Oh." So you never know.
Yeah.
And that way you get to hang it also.
An extra bonus for the customer.
Hey, Frank, haven't seen you in a while.
Yep, made a point of coming today. Been very busy this year so far.
Good. I want to set up a website for my bird pictures.
Okay,
What's the cheapest way I can do it? That is also the easiest.
I would say Squarespace or Wix. Do you want to
They
sell
have
them, I
built-in-
assume?
What?
I assume you want to sell them through the site?
I guess.
How many of them
I
are
haven't
there?
thought about that.
You haven't? Okay.
No, I mean, it's just for my own enjoyment or distraction.
Okay, how many pictures are there?
Maybe 30.
Dozens, hundreds, thousands?
No, maybe 30 or 40 right now.
Then Squarespace would be fine.
Do they have a built-in shopping cart?
Yes,
And can the customers choose order prints and have it fulfilled?
yes.
Because I don't want to make prints.
She needed a ride home.
Well, the fulfillment part is a complication, but you can set up the website and display them well in Squarespace for $30 a month.
Yeah,
And-
30 a month
and
is a
sell them.
lot.
Hmm?
30, for 30 a month, I'd rather go with Zenfolio.
Okay,
It's a lot more complicated, but the fulfillment part of it is easy.
no, if they'll fulfill for you, then yeah,
Yeah,
you're better off with that. Can you have a custom unique website name on Zenfolio? Or
well,
is
you
it
have your domain name.
Hmm?
Your domain name.
Oh, so you can assign your own domain name to Zenfolio.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I
Good.
had an account with them, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and I got bored, and it wasn't doing anything for me.
I've been on Zenfolio, but it was a Zenfolio website with a subdomain for somebody as opposed to their own domain, and you didn't know that it was Zenfolio.
Well, right, you create your own theme, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're familiar and the cost is comparable, then do what you're
And
familiar with.
actually, the cost is cheaper, but I'm not familiar anymore. So you're not familiar with Zenfolio?
I've never been on the inside. I've only seen the outside. I'm sure I can figure it out if you'd like help. Glad to do that.
All right, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So, Karen, they released the St. Louis mock jury results a little while ago.
This is the one year I did not participate. Usually I do.
I posted the link and everything
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
on jury image evaluation.
All right, that'd be fun to look at.
Your photo shoot looks like I mean, the images look really nice. So it seems like it went well.
Allison, I dedicated the whole photo shoot to you.
Oh, why is that?
Because you reminded me I needed new images.
Oh.
And what a journey that was. Yes. So I got my new images. I have actually applied to Art in High Desert, finally.
Good.
I think I should be the last board member to have applied. And now I have 400 images to edit, clean up, edit, and use for other things.
Mhm.
So
Good.
now
So is this someone you can use again then, this photographer?
yes, and again, I'd have to say the learning curve is steep with this
Mhm.
photographer.
her. It's just a different set of issues.
Yeah.
But she will probably be the person I work with next, and we'll try again. Yeah.
Right.
I'm just, it's really hard to find anybody who knows how to shoot wearables.
Right, right. You know, darn your old photographer retiring. How dare they?
Well, she's actually going to move to Portugal, and I was quite honored about her friendship, is that she helped with this last shoot. She was on,
That's-
she was available for moral support and
Mm-hmm.
just, you know, finesse. That was great. That was
That
great.
is great.
Yeah.
I have a couple suggestions for you for next time.
Mm-hmm. What is that, Court?
Have them step out away from the background a little bit so you don't get the shadow behind them on the wall.
Absolutely. We needed more lighting. We actually need a bigger space.
Yeah, I figured it was probably a space issue, and also the sweep in the backdrop. Pull it out so there's more of a curve and less.
Yep. Yes, a
And
line, right.
I know with people moving around, it's kind of tough, but you know, keeping that paper flat and clean on the bottom is just.
That's what I am learning how to edit out. I discovered the magic
Mhm.
eraser.
It will make your life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, I have 400 images to use the magic eraser on.
Mhm.
You'll be a pro by the end of the week, Karen.
I'll make a suggestion because I've some of the commercial photographers that I've assisted,
Mhm.
instead of using background paper, would go to like Lowe's or Home Depot and buy really cheap linoleum, you know, vinyl flooring. The key is you're going to use the back side of it, not the front.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to have it can't be smooth on the back. It's got to have just a little bit of tooth.
Mm-hmm.
And then it doesn't wrinkle as bad as paper because it's a lot stiffer. So you won't get the problems where it kind of wrinkles up around feet. And if you go in and like you had people in shoes, it gets scuffed up a little bit. What you do is you paint it the color you want.
Yeah.
And if it gets scuffed up a little bit, you just
Paint
lay a
over.
little
Touch
bit of
it
new
up.
paint down, and you can even do that in the middle of the session is lay some new paint down, hit it with a hair dryer, and it's dry.
Yeah, we had a problem with the high heels going through the paper. And that's the other thing I get to edit out for the other images. But, you know, Larry did a great job of taking out the original backdrop and putting in a new one with shadows, which is just beautiful. And I don't have a clue how he did it. So I appreciate what Larry is able to do for us once again. And so, you know, this is again a learning curve for me. I guess I just kind of jump into the ocean and figure out how to swim, but I will figure out how to edit those 400 images so that the floor is correct.
Yeah, and now you will still, if you get very high up on the curve with a heel, you'll still go through the linoleum. But if it's laying flat on the ground, it won't be nearly as bad as the paper. It's a lot more durable.
If we'd had a studio floor that wasn't carpeted, it would have been the first carpet.
Yeah.
So of course she's going to go through the paper. Yeah.
Yeah, next time sheet of plywood underneath.
That's what we did. I grabbed some hardboard and put it underneath. It wasn't quite big enough, but that's what we did. Yeah, a lot to learn. So is there a way to do a batch edit where you have to take out the same hole on a picture for 400 images?
It's only if it's in exactly the same place, but it's not. Because the photographer wasn't using a tripod, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can do things like if you want to make them all lighter or darker or a color adjustment, those kind of things are all you can do as a batch.
Okay.
But those individual edits where you take things out if they're not in exactly the same spot.
How are you trying to take the hole out?
I'm using a magic eraser. I have 2 programs access to. the Canva program is what I'm using for the magic
Yeah.
eraser. It
The
will also,
the healing brush,
Yeah,
do it in one click.
okay.
But
Well, that was Adobe, right?
It's in Photoshop or Elements.
I've got Elements, so I'll look at that too. Elements also has the program where it will identify the face and smooth it. And my
AI.
AI, since my model is a mature woman, I'm actually going to use that feature to take out some of the age lines.
Well,
You
apparently
might,
you could smooth out hair also. Like if, you know.
Yeah, don't have an issue with the hair this time.
you might look at full-blown Photoshop, and you can download a trial for 30 days. I don't know if there is the new Photoshop's got some AI in it. There may be a way to a tool in the new Photoshop where you could use AI to automate cleaning up the backgrounds. And if that's the case, you might be able to batch process it.
I'm actually going to have the photographer look at that because she mentioned this, and I'll see what she tells me. If she can figure it out, it'd be great. But other than that, for the next 30 days, I will be one by one cleaning up the images I now have.
And Karen, Eric knows Photoshop really well, and you're welcome to. You have my email. You can, send questions. He'll be happy to answer them.
Okay.
So he might know a solution to that. I don't know though. I couldn't. I'm learning Photoshop, but I haven't done anything so sophisticated as that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the tools that Elements has in it currently. But I know Photoshop has what are called actions. And it's like a script that you record a set of actions, and you can tell it to pause or run these things. And what you can do is you record an action, then you can dump all your folders, all your files into a folder and say, run this action on all these files.
That'd be great.
Elements can run actions, but they can't create actions.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. That's I'm learning. That's wonderful.
So if you have something that you're doing that's really repetitive, even if you just have Elements, you might find somebody that can put together the action for you and send it to you, and then you could just either batch process it, or if you can't batch process it in Elements, worst case scenario is you can assign keystrokes to actions. So you can call up a photo and then do a keystroke, and it'll automatically run your action for you.
Okay, and then you can either accept it or undo it if you don't like it. Yeah.
And
okay.
You can program stops into the action, so the actions can actually do multiple things. So let's say you're going to have it lighten or darken something. You can have it open up the tool to lighten or darken, then you can lighten or darken how much you want, and then tell it okay, and it'll go on.
Okay. Okay. Good.
And you can string those parts together, so you can have an action, open it up, apply a color correction, but leave the box open for you, that you can either just hit return and go on, or you can adjust it. And you can then you hit continue, and it'll go to the next dialog box that would bring up, maybe you want to lighten or darken. And you could have it go to a set amount, and if you like it, just hit go, and it'll keep going until it runs out of things to do. So even if you're just using Elements, just that hitting a key command and having it start that process greatly automates things.
It would, and give me some consistency too. All right, I'll see if I can figure that out. Good.
I bet you could figure anything out.
Oh, I don't.
Larry, does Elements have layers?
I think so.
I don't know how to use layers yet. that is undiscovered area yet. But
Well, layers, I mean, layers, the basic principle of it is you can do the work on the image, but you're working on a layer, and you could turn that layer on and off to see the changes you've made.
okay, so you don't
And
original image. Oh, I
Yeah.
get it. All right.
the other nice thing about layers is if you get to if you're going to do something on an image you don't like, you can like try it in a layer, and then, oh, I don't like that. You can just toss that layer and you don't have to go back and undo a whole bunch of things, or you haven't messed up your image.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that
And then,
clear.
and you can also, with layers, move one aspect, like one layer around, if you want to, shift like graphically whatever you're creating without affecting the other layers.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
you're
Well, the whole reason I'm learning to do this editing is because I took very seriously that the photographer doesn't like to release their photos unless they've had a chance to review and edit the pictures before it goes to the public. And the deal I made with this particular photographer was I had an immediate deadline. I needed to have all the image immediately so I could meet my deadlines. But now, rather than posting short video content, it's sort of on me just to fix these things, the small editing details that need to be fixed, because her name's attached to the work as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to be responsible for that.
If you're making changes to things like color and density, a lot of times you can do what's called an adjustment layer to
Mhm.
make those changes. So in your final image, you're not changing. I would suggest, if you haven't already, just take the folder all your images in, copy it,
Mhm.
and keep a copy of the base images. But there's ways to edit things using adjustment layers where you can go in and take that base image and make edits to it, but not change the original image.
Well, what I'd like to learn how to do is cut out the entire, I know how to cut out the entire background, but I'd like to replace it with a different background and shadows. Shadows more like what Larry did for my final images. And that I don't have, I haven't explored how to actually accomplish that. Because I think the shadows that are in the original images, we needed more light on one side in particular, or there's too much light on her face for some of them, or too much light on the boots for others. I would like to be able to cut out the background but still make it three-dimensional. I can't have her just floating in space.
A lot of times to cut out the background, you have to select the subject. In your case,
Mhm.
you have to select the model. And that separates her from the background. But also that selection a lot of times is what's used to make a shadow, because you want a shadow to be roughly the shape of the object.
Right.
And so then once you have that selection made, you can save that selection and use it to put in a new background, but that you can also use that selection, if you've saved it, to modify and,
Like,
skew and scale for your shadow.
okay, I'll give that a try. Thank you. It's great. Great tutorial. Thank you. So, Court,
Yeah.
do you have more information that you can share about the conference in Oklahoma City? I haven't had a chance to ask Cindy yet, but
I do not. I do not. I don't know
Okay.
anything other than the dates.
all right.
I've not gotten anything from them, and I have not. Cindy was out of town, and I have not talked to her recently. I've got to. I do have to talk to her about our emerging artist program, but I don't know anything about what's going on in Oklahoma City.
Okay. I'll try and get in touch with her. I have some questions.
Yeah, I don't know. she should be back into the swing of things with classes now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they haven't had too much. I don't think they got too much nasty weather up there.
They got some.
Yeah. They also had a the university computer system got hacked.
Oh, no.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, it was minor compared to the computer system, the state, all 100 and I think there's 105 counties in Kansas. 104 of the 105 counties in the state of Kansas use the same computer system for the court system.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And they got hit with a ransomware attack.
Oh, no.
And it took down the whole judicial court system. And it took them 3 months. It took them 3 months, I think. And I'm not sure if even right now if it is still fully back up and running.
Mm-hmm. That's horrible.
So, yeah. So what happened at K-State was kind of minor compared to that.
I would agree. I'll have to talk to my lawyer friend in Missouri. He would be able to tell me more, I'm sure. Jeez.
Yeah, it was when it first happened, there was somewhere I read a story that it was a ransomware attack. And then it got very quiet from the state. They would only say that the system got hacked, and that's all they said until it was back up and running. And then they finally said it was a ransomware attack.
Well, they'd have to protect themselves. Yeah, that's pretty criminal what they did, what happened. That's too bad.
So now they're trying to figure out how much data because they took some of the data, so they're trying to figure out how much data got taken and all that. So
I can imagine.
And all the court filings and things that people want to look up and pay fines and all that kind of stuff all had to be done totally on paper for months.
Jeez, that hurts. So I want to return to Oscar's comment about getting into good shows and, counting on at least doing your minimum sales or better. Average. The whole point of trying to get into these good shows is that somehow those shows have cultivated a buying public who appreciates the work that's at the show. And to me, it's like I would like to hear from art fair directors what they do to get their communities excited about purchasing art.
I think that's well stated. And the other thing is those shows that have cultivated that crowd for, a couple decades seem to get people from other places. I mean, I have customers, they plan their trips around when the show is, even if they don't live there. And then there's the preconceived notion that, so part of the selling is done because you're accepted into the show. So in other words, the customer, you know what I'm saying?
You are the best. Yeah, that's why you're there, and they come to see the best. Yeah, and I get that about St. Louis, and I just marvel at how that community turns out each year for that show. And I think it takes years of the directors and board members working with the community, with the businesses, with the client base to develop prestige of what the show can do.
Yeah, they have to have a vision.
They have to have a vision, and they have to promote it and make it.
And then, also, I've sold to adults who they were brought by their parents to the show. So there's the history that builds up over time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Karen, I just added what do you do to build a community of art buyers?
Thank you, Court. I'm hoping, yeah, again, today it's like there's 4 Zoom meetings going on and I am not at home. So I really hope to be able to get to your next meeting that's with the NAIA. But I may
Oh.
miss, but I will, hopefully there'll be a recording. Will
We're
there
going
be
to
a
record it. Right now, I don't have access to the NAIA YouTube account yet.
Okay,
So I've got to go in and I've got to get access with that and talk with Evan
all
and
right.
figure out what I need to do, and also some other little technical things I need to
Okay.
do. And then I'm hoping within the next 2 weeks I can get this will be the first one I post.
I'm
Well, you-
looking forward to it. I know that there's a high probability I will miss the window to attend. So let me know when there is a recording. I'd love to watch it.
You should be able to just download it via Zoom and well, it depends upon the account, and just send that link out, which would be probably available for 30 days. I don't know what kind of account you have, but
I have-
Well, here's the problem.
you don't
it's
have
not-
access. I
It's
know.
not stored on Zoom.
Oh.
The
Right.
recording is stored locally on my computer because we have limited space on Zoom to store things, and
Yep.
it's full. So I've got to download it to my computer,
Mhm.
and then I've got to take it off my computer and put it in. You know, we have an account with YouTube, and that's where it's going to go. But I've got to get it
Mhm.
from my computer into the YouTube account, and then links
Right.
onto our website.
Yeah.
Court, there's a company called Fathom that will record and transcribe a meeting and email everybody who was listed as an attendee that the recording's available on the Fathom server.
What is that called again, Frank?
Fathom, Fathom.
Okay.
I don't remember whether it's fathom.com or AI or whatever.
Yeah,
but-
if you're doing a rock concert. That's what Fathom is.
Well,
will,
I Zoom one day, I was in Zoom and it said, would you like to use Fathom? And I said, yes, and they haven't charged me anything for it yet. And basically every meeting I host on, it shows up, and it shows up for this, but I was able to turn it off. But
Okay, I'll look for that.
I have no idea how expensive it would be if they're charging. But I've had it for, I think, a year for free.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
it's movies, right? Fathom Entertainment.
Well, you know, the same word gets used for many different businesses.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Let me see if I can't pull it up.
So I'm waiting for somebody to send me the booth picture.
All right. Well, guys, I have to run off and I have some things to do here in Portland. But I will finish up with this meeting via recording. Nice to see you and thank you for answering my questions today. It was great.
Bye,
Bye, Karen.
Bye-bye.
I put the link for tonight's Zoom in the chat window if anybody wants it.
I'm putting the link to Fathom. Fathom.video.
Okay.
And the transcripts are comprehensible. They're not by any means wonderful, but that a machine can do that well is pretty good. They tend to assign words to different people, you know, that it says so-and-so is speaking, and then it says so-and-so else is speaking, and half of the sentence belongs to the first person that's assigned to the second person, or vice versa. But
Okay, so what's the password, Court?
There's no password
Okay.
because it is set up. One thing I found out about Zoom, if you look at the link for Zoom and it requires a password, it will say PWD in the link and have several characters after it. If it doesn't say that, then it's not set up to require a password. I discovered that posting the link for the video for the Zoom, the happy hour Zooms, because it's the same link for everyone. But because we have a waiting room set up, you don't have to have a password.
Okay,
Because Zoom requires you to have one of three things, at least one of three things: a password, a waiting room, or registration.
Because
only-
when they didn't have those things, people would pop in and be horribly abusive and nasty.
Right. So you have to have one of those three things to get into a Zoom. And so we use a waiting room, and that takes care of the password issue.
Well, it's good to see all of you. It's been a little while. I'm gonna say goodbye for the day.
Well, thank you
See-
for the link to
All right.
Fathom. I'm going to check it out.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
all right.
I'm also going to take off because I've got some things to do here to get ready for tonight. So
And it starts at 7 Eastern, right?
7 o'clock Eastern time. We'll see everyone later.
All right.
Okay, take care. 7 Eastern.
It's in an hour and 45 minutes.
I'll still be right where I am right now.
Yeah, I gotta go feed Elvis and then feed myself.
Okay,
right.
well, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, take care, everyone.